Hey, welcome to Berenson Homestead, a low budget production. Okay, let me help you understand what's happening here. If you've been watching, the garden was starting back there. I needed 2 more 20-foot beds on both sides of those just to have a somewhat usable workspace to grow a somewhat decent amount of food. That is just too expensive for the budget, which is essentially zero. So I am going to be resourceful. This isn't necessarily going to be the prettiest thing ever, okay? But it's going to look better than it does now. So just level with me here. Okay. My husband and my stepson pulled out a fence that went all the way around the property. So there's a big old trench right here, okay? So part of the work is done for me as far as using the ground. Look, see, part of the work is done. Perfect. Also, I got a trellis here for a squash that I'm going to grow here. This is going to be the entrance. It's just going to go straight back. And then right here, see, I've got my post in there. Yeah, notice they're not in all the way because I'm going to have to wait for my husband to get home to do that. They're way too tall for me. I don't have an A-frame ladder, so I'm working with that situation. Okay, so let me help you understand my thought process here. That is very dangerous. You can see we had like cones right here just so the kids wouldn't like break their ankle in it. So I'm closing that off. That's going to be on the inside of the garden. Eventually, it's going to be all dug up nice and even and filled with soil. So bada bing, bada boom. I still don't know, and you get to find out with me right now if I actually have usable soil under here or if it's just going to be like a bunch of clay. So hopefully we have some, and then I just have to supplement, but we'll see. You're going to find out. Okay, so yeah, this little trench goes all the way around. That's where the fence was. It's actually, the garden's going to end right about here, kind of between here and that oak. And I'm gonna actually keep the fence low on this side. You can't tell now, but these things, it's blackberry bushes. If you have blackberry bushes, they grow crazy. So I want them to come all the way to the fence. The fence on this side is just gonna be to keep the rabbits out. The deer don't come up this way. The rabbits do. So once this grows back in, and I'll let it grow, it's going to come over all the way up to the short fence, create sort of a natural wall, and it's going to be a safe spot for my kids to be able to pick berries inside the fence. Because this, you can't maybe tell, but this is just a drop off all along our property. So I would like for when my kids are picking berries to not risk the chance of like tumbling down a hill and sustaining injuries. So I'm also not going to do straight rows because I just don't like the aesthetic of that. I like it to look a little more natural. So I'm still deciding how I want to till, how I want to make my planting space. But likely what I'm going to do is I will have a couple long rows and then I'm going to go horizontal. And then I might actually, like right here, I'm going to have a big rectangular space. So it's good. It's not going to just look super linear because I just don't think I would like looking at that when I look out my window. Antonio, I swear, do you need something? Is it an emergency? I didn't think so. So anyway, let's dig. I swear, Phyllis, unless you are planning on doing some work, just move out of the way, please. All right. This is clay. So that's okay. I can still do what I was going to do. Just we're going to have to get soil. It's still not going to be even close to as much as if I had raised beds. So it's still going to save us some money. And luckily, all of this material, these were here. We set them aside to reuse them, and they're definitely coming in handy now. That we brought when we moved. My husband might have some left over somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, so full disclosure, when I do let you guys know how much all of this costs, keep in mind that we did have some supplies that just happened to be here when we moved here. But it's going to be a blessing. So I will just keep updating you on how this is going and the planning process, and you'll kind of get to see it manifest in reality, and I will let you know how much I spent. Suppose we could start a clay farm. Thinking outside the box here.